there's one exercise that I tried with you, if you remember, about the bottle.
Yes.
This ties into what I mentioned about Japan, about respecting the inanimate object, but it's also about slowing down and being present. So I asked you to pick up the bottle normally. You picked it up, placed it back. Then I asked you to pick up the bottle again, but I asked you to imagine that that bottle is worth $100 million, and it doesn't even belong to you. It belongs to someone that you respect, somebody very precious to you, but it's $100 million. And the way you picked it up is exactly what I'm trying to emphasize right now. You picked it up with such care, with such respect, with such attention. You did it so slowly, so carefully, because it mattered more than anything in that moment. Nothing else existed in that moment. You slowed down, so you became so present. And then my question to you was, what if you did that with everything in your life? What if you did that with activities? What if you did that with the things you normally use? Musicians do that with their own instruments. They handle it with respect. There's this emotional connection they have with inanimate objects as well. People that are skilled in a certain field, they respect their tools. It creates that psychological bond with them, and it empowers them, and it kind of anchors them so that once they hold on to the guitar, suddenly they're in a different place. They're connected. Them and the guitar are one. So now they're going to deliver something very special because they're present. It helps them be present. So that's one thing that ties into that. But the other is, what if you did that with people? If you treated people from this moment onwards like any person you encounter is worth $100 million, you had that belief, you created that same imagination that we talked about at this moment, or a couple of minutes ago, how would that affect your interactions with people? How would that affect the way you communicate with people? How would that make people feel when you treat them like $100 million? When you think that way, you're going to treat them differently.
It goes back to treating the waitress with respect, the same amount of respect as you would treat the CEO. You know, spreading that equal share in how you treat people.
Yes.
Why it's important to treat the waitress the same as you would treat the CEO. The garbage man the same as you would treat, a businessman, or et cetera, et cetera.
Because
the importance. Sorry.
No, because everybody deserves that respect. And there are people that may disagree with that, but the truth is, if you have that as a default, you no longer become an enemy to others. You don't need to size people up. Treat them with respect and see how they respond, rather than treating with disrespect to see how they're going to respond. Start off with the other way. Treat people with respect, because people want to be respected. They want to be appreciated. They want to be understood. And this is the thing that surprises me. People, during conversations, they want to be understood, but they seek control instead of seeking understanding. If you want to be understood, seek understanding from the other person. If you're trying to control them, they're not going to understand you. You're going against what you want them to give you, or what you want to have out of this relation, out of this discussion or interaction or conversation. And that was an Instagram post that I posted probably a month ago about this world would be a better place if people started looking at conversations differently. Instead of having the intention to, instead of having the need to control, if we have the desire to understand, if that's our intention, letting go of the need to control, so you eliminate the rivalry, you eliminate the conflict, the tension that is unnecessary in conversations. The way you operate in conversations change just by the way you're intending. And I did say we're going to get back to intention. if your intention is to be present, if your intention is to be grateful, practice gratitude in that moment with that person. So your intention is to practice gratitude or to demonstrate gratitude. Your reaction with the person's your interaction is going to be different. If your intention is to connect with the person, if your intention is to understand the person, that's going to change things. If your intention is to dominate, if your intention is to control, which is the ultimate goal of domination, that's going to affect the way you talk to them. There is no point in conflict, in creating conflict in a conversation. You're just creating a block that is preventing you from getting what you want and preventing making the other person feel in a certain way so that they can give you what you want. What are you doing? But most of us have that. We don't focus on acceptance. And if I accept the person in front of me for who they are, for what they're doing, in that moment, regardless of the way I think of them, if I just accept them and accept what they're saying as their truth, not mine, automatically I'll be in a better place because I'm accepting them in order to understand them. I'm curious and I want to understand. That's the only way to influence them or inspire them, if that's what I want. But at the end of the day, even if we did not agree, I understand you. I built rapport. The aim is not to win.